Hi, my name is Amrit. We've heard that IIT Madras is the best place to build. So we've come down to the Sudhan Shankar Innovation Hub. We want to meet some people. These are builders. We want to talk to them about their work and also ask them what makes IIT Madras the best place to build. Hi, for today's episode, we are going behind the scenes. So why did this podcast come about? Nobody asked us, but we are saying it anyway. And some of the details of what we do here. So my name is Amrit. With me is Piyush.
Okay. Hi, Amrut. So, what are we talking about today?
I think we can start by talking about what is AskIITM and why did we get here.
I remember our initial phrasing being it's a digital successor to the counseling that used to have happened 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, counseling stopped in 2009. 2025 is the fourth year of AskIITM. And I think I think most of the videos you were involved in, right? Like all 300 videos?
350 videos.
Okay. When we started in the beginning, we were like, oh, people are very impatient. Nobody watches more than 1 minute. And then actually as a content team, if you could put content consistently, you get a lot of data and you start realizing that there are a set of people who are looking at longer stuff, who want to deep dive. There are things that you can't really explore in 1 minute, 2 minutes.
And we were also sort of thinking that in terms of the student aspects, we have mostly covered everything.
I remember this moment in very vividly in the demo day at Bangalore in 2024, where we had a 3 hour long presentation and about 200 people who presented everything. And then at the end, and we were talking of Hyperloop, which is in my background, right? So it's a real thing that there is a Hyperloop project at IIT and there is a track at the other campus. And this parent, sort of after the event, uh, uh, came up to me and said, "Why are you guys lying about this?" And obviously, we were not lying, but so much of cognitive dissonance. Like, we are talking about these amazing things that are happening, but somehow the audience is like, they're stuck in the past. Like, 20 साल पहले जो आईआईटी का नैरेटिव था वही है.
एग्जैक्टली एंड ये तो यूएस में होता होगा,
हाँ,
बाहर होता होगा, चाइना में होता होगा, इंडिया में थोड़ी ना होता होगा.
हाँ, यूएस में होता होगा.
But we showed it. We invited Suyash to the podcast,
Yes.
who started the Hyperloop team in IIT Madras.
Yeah, and Professor Satya also. It took us a while to figure out how to set up the frame and what is the background, what is the art direction on it, and
I remember you being so particular about this feeling that has to be there about people leaning in and not, an egotistical conversation about people just boasting about
because in podcasts today, I mean, there are a lot of podcasts that are run by really rich billionaire, पहुंचे हुए लोग, and वो लोग सब ऐसे बैठे हैं, फैले हुए. And I'm like, yeah, this is not the vibe that a builder should have.
Hmm. And I think that humility sort of is also ingrained in how people learn to build over here by failing consistently at things and then suddenly something sort of, I mean, not suddenly, but something sort of cracks and they're able to make something happen.
Correct. And the reference point for our podcast was that sports podcast
I think,
Breakfast with Champions.
yeah, because yeah, champions.
So that was the frame that we thought matched the vibe we want really well. Amazing. So glad we did this. A lot of you have asked us in your messages that what do we keep in these cups?
We would reveal this at the end of the episode.
Nobody has asked us that. Nobody. And since a lot of you have been wondering, these plants are indeed fake. These are not real. They're IKEA plants. The table is IKEA table. Chair is IKEA table. The cushion is IKEA. Amrut is not IKEA Amrut. Anshuman, we should start by talking about who do we call, how do we select, or how do we decide who to call. We call anyone who agrees to travel to Chennai. Okay, but no, jokes apart. So so I think when we started thinking about who would we call on the podcast, the first thought which both of us unanimously agreed on is that we don't have a dearth of builders in IIT Madras ecosystem. We were just actually we were it was the opposite. Like, it's plenty. How do we order the
Yeah.
guests? Yeah. And the idea is to call people who have been part of the IIT Madras ecosystem. They might all still be a part, or they might have graduated. Eh, Thing is, the once you have been a part of this ecosystem, you never actually leave. You are always engaged, connected in some way or the other. As you said in the beginning, there's a problem of plenty. So it's not really about selecting and not selecting. It's about figuring out who to call first and who to call next. I think, as you said earlier, one of our issues is that because we shoot it in Chennai, and I guess it doesn't come across to the audience, but we actually shoot at 7 in the morning and 9 in the morning because CFI as a space gets extremely crowded and noisy. And it's not fair for us to go and tell someone we're going to occupy this place for 4 5 hours. First shoot starts at 7. So because of that practical constraint, a lot of people we can't call. And yeah, getting people's schedule to align with the shoot dates, then making them, most of these people who are busy in building, I mean, they are busy, and traveling to another city just for this at times gets difficult. But I think we have been very fortunate in a way that most of the people who we have asked, they've been able to find time and turn up for the shoots. Yeah, yeah. I mean, luckily there are lots who are staying on campus. So I mean, yeah, it's not impossible, but yeah, somebody staying in Delhi or Bangalore or US, uh, scheduling is a big concern. The other thing that I like that you lead and you manage is the research process. In a couple of episodes, the topic of the area of their work, yeah, has been so complicated that we have to educate ourselves. We have had to consult other experts in the field to be able to, like, please explain what this person is talking about. Yeah. Or if they send us their, sometimes the guests will send us a list of their publications, and these are like all conference papers or research papers or journal papers, and we have to literally like go through and figure out, acha, what does this mean? And then, yeah, but it's been enjoyable. Yeah, perplexity helps, and we hope we are able to call the founder sometime. Yeah, Arvind, if you're seeing this, please come on a podcast. The final thing that I get from the team that's heading that's running the research is so well structured that for me, it's when I start the podcast, it feels very comfortable. I can easily come across as really stupid, always waiting for a comment saying who is this person? Why does he think he can interview whatever, Ravindan sir or something? So well, I think you have fared really well so far in the conversations. Two main ideas while deciding on what we are going to talk about. One is, since we are talking about build, we don't just want to, like, superficially touch upon the guest's work. You want to take a slight deep dive and understand the core tech, understand the product, their work slightly in more detail than we would. The other aspect that we tend to cover is their personal journeys, because the work, the work they choose to do and how they do it, what they build, is always an outcome of the person that they are, the circumstances that they. And we have enjoyed it a lot, whether it is Sharon talking about his love for sleep. Yeah, the personal stories, yeah, they make the conversation much more colorful than. I remember Divanshu talking about how he was at IIT Kanpur. He thought he'll join IIT Kanpur, but just missed by a rank. And then his house is 2 hours away from there. And then now he has to come all the way to Madras because that's the course he got. But another thing, how the first robot that he built as his master's project was laughed at by the actual users, and that's what motivated him to build an actual robot that can be used by the manual scavengers and see where they are now. Yeah. My favorite story though is Anand Rajaram talking about how he named Jungli because there was already a company called Yahoo. And and the song goes, oh wow, क्या कोई मुझे जंगली कहे. Nice, nice. And we certainly hope that somebody is able to relate with these personal stories and get inspired and start building themselves. Indu takes care of the episode release once the edit is done.
So, I mean, the initial idea was that we build some curiosity in the audience about what the next guest is going to talk about. So on Thursday, we have this teaser reel where we have anecdotes which are full stories within themselves. So there are segments from the interview that we put into a reel, and then the next day, Friday, is usually our episode release. Like, it has always been that way. So our episode release also happens like through a reel on Instagram, YouTube, and like LinkedIn. So we release across all the three platforms, and there are obviously the captions and everything is structured according to the platform, because the kind of audience we have on Instagram is pretty different, and the kind of content that our audience consumes on Instagram is pretty different from the kind of content our audience consumes on LinkedIn. So yeah, I mean, that's basically pretty much it.
I remember while doing the initial few episodes, we as consumers had experienced that sometimes captions are very clickbaity, and when you go to the actual content, you are very disappointed, and you don't want our viewers to have the same feeling. So we try to stay true to the actual content while we are writing the captions.
It's very real, that's for sure. Like, I think that's something that has helped us gain a certain amount of loyal audience, as I can see in my YouTube analytics. But yeah, obviously, like, we need our podcast to reach a lot more people, a lot of, and there's so many people who can benefit from it, because we cover such a diverse range of topics and entrepreneurs, professors, alums.
Mrityunjay, let's talk a little bit about like how we set up the frame and what are all the things that we do. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like for the setup preparation, I mean, our day basically start at 4 or 5. We reach here by 5:36. It takes almost an hour to do the setup. I mean, it looks simple on the camera in the final output. It may look like you, okay, just put a table and chair and you're done. But here,
yeah, nobody sees how much cleaning up we have to do. Like, when we reach in the morning, the whole thing is basically a mess. I mean, yeah, that's okay because this is a builder's lab, right? End of the day, students are here to build something, and the whole process is messy. But yeah, takes a lot of effort to clean everything up, and then we have to start setting everything up.
I mean, hiring a studio will be way easier and convenient for us. But the idea behind choosing C5 is we want to showcase that IT Madras is a best place to build. And what is a better place to have the podcast? We have C5 teams here. We have Nirman here. I couldn't think of any better place for this.
Yeah, I have also seen this with a lot of guests who, after a long time, are coming back to C5 to shoot the podcast. First thing they do is they go around the whole building. They literally see each and everything. And the smile on their face is something else. So, Anshuman, how does it feel to be on the other side of camera? Let's start by that.
ये बकचोदी मत करो 10 मिनट से बैठा हुआ हूँ मैं आई वांट टू गेट अवे ठीक है so I wanted to talk about the trips that we do to Chennai to shoot the podcast.
I think we are from December onwards. Every 3 weeks, we are at least.
October onward. We started in
Was it October?
yeah, October.
It was October.
I think
Yeah,
this week.
time we are here, and on Monday we were here. Today is Friday, not Friday, Sunday.
2 trips in a week you and Amrut have done.
Yeah, that also, like, we drove down both the time. It's fun. So whenever we get a chance to travel anywhere, we generally prefer to like come together, and it's fun, super fun, because in the car we end up talking about so many things, right? Yeah, and like Amrut has lived in Chennai for a very long time, right? That also, like, every time we are coming to Chennai now, he's putting in efforts to take us to different places, which are actually like those things. These places are such places that you would only know if you have lived in a city for a really long time. And because of going to these places, you also start feeling that you know the city a bit more.
And also that we do our shoots on weekends and early morning. So once most of the time we are done with our shoot on Saturdays and Sundays by say 11 o'clock, and then we have rest of the day to explore and we go out and have cities.
Then we do something. Yeah, agree. Do you remember like how much firefighting was done when we were releasing the first episode?
Yeah,
It was so stressful.
I think by that time we rolled out our third or fourth episodes, it was fairly streamlined, although never 100%. We still continue to find out certain new things every episode or so, but largely under control, and it's fairly streamlined. There's a nice rhythm to it now.
Yeah, we don't have to break our heads anymore. Like everyone knows what they have to do.